She never wanted to understand you. She didn't come looking for truth. She came looking for confirmation. Confirmation that you were weak. Confirmation that you were finished. Confirmation that whatever she whispered behind your back would soon become reality. That's why she took your photograph. She held it tightly in her hands as she walked into the Seer's room, already convinced she was about to witness your downfall. In her mind, this was just another quiet betrayal. Another secret victory she would never have to admit out loud. The room itself seemed ordinary at first. Candles burned evenly. The air was still. The Seer sat calmly, almost bored, as if she had seen every kind of human darkness already. Nothing in that moment suggested what was about to happen, until your image touched her hands. The shift was instant. The candles flickered violently, as though a sudden wind had passed through the room. Yet no windows were open. The air thickened. The walls creaked, not loudly, but deeply, like something ancient had stirred beneath the surface. The Seer froze. Her fingers stiffened around the photo. Her breath caught in her throat. A chill ran through her body so sharply that she nearly dropped it. "Who is this?" she asked. But she wasn't speaking to the woman. She was speaking to the space around her, as if something invisible had stepped forward. The woman smirked, confident, almost amused. She leaned in and whispered your name, slowly, carefully, with venom behind every syllable. And that's when the mirror cracked. Not from the edge, from the center. A single, violent fracture split it straight down the middle. The sound echoed through the room like a warning. The Seer's face drained of color. Her eyes widened, not in fear alone, but in recognition. Her voice dropped into a hushed tone, heavy with something the woman did not expect. "You shouldn't have brought this here." The woman laughed. She thought it was drama. She thought it was theatrics. She had no idea she had just crossed a boundary that could not be uncrossed. "This person is protected," the Seer continued. "Not guarded, not lucky. Protected." The woman waved her hand dismissively. She had already made up her mind about you long ago. To her, you were quiet, soft, too calm, too forgiving. She mistook your silence for weakness. But then the room went silent, completely silent. No flickering candles, no background hum, no breath, but her own. She turned toward the mirror again, and her reflection was gone. Her smile vanished. For the first time, doubt crept in. The Seer stood abruptly and thrust the photograph back into her hands as if it burned. "Leave," she said. "Don't come back." The woman scoffed. "What are you talking about? You didn't bring a cursed image into this room." The Seer said slowly, "You brought yourself." The woman left in a hurry, irritation masking the first cracks of fear. But halfway through the doorway, her knees buckled. She caught herself against the wall, heart racing, breath shallow. Something had followed her. That night, she didn't sleep. She lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying the moment over and over again. The crack in the mirror, the Seer's voice, the way the room had changed. When she finally drifted off, her dreams were not her own. She saw your face, but not as she remembered it. You were glowing, radiant, calm, untouchable. And she was distorted, blurred, fading. She woke up gasping, drenched in sweat. From that night on, sleep never came easily again. She burned candles every evening. She whispered protection prayers she barely understood. She searched for answers, for reversals, for someone, anyone, who could tell her how to undo what had been set in motion. But the presence grew stronger, not darker, stronger. And the reason terrified her, because the energy attached to your name wasn't chaotic. It wasn't vengeful. It was ancient. The Seer had seen it immediately. Not just your face, not just your name, but your lineage. She saw ancestors rising, lines of strength behind you, a spiritual history that did not begin with you and would not end with you. She saw doors opening for you in places where doors had never opened before. She saw your name spoken in rooms you had never entered. She saw whispers silenced the moment you appeared. She saw elevation, and that's what scared her the most, because the woman hadn't come to witness your rise. She had come to confirm your destruction. Instead, she accidentally activated your destiny. The Seer had warned her. "Do not curse them again," she said. "Whatever you send toward this person will return to you tenfold." The woman didn't believe her. She went home and tried to reverse it. She sought other seers, other sages, other rituals. She fasted. She prayed. She begged. She demanded answers. but no one could help her because this wasn't a curse. It was justice, and justice does not require permission. Meanwhile, you were unaware. You kept living. Quietly. Steadily. You questioned yourself at times. You wondered why resistance followed you, why people turned strange, why certain doors slammed shut just before you reached them. You thought it was bad luck. You thought it was timing. You never knew that unseen forces were already working on your behalf. Angels turned their attention toward you. Ancestors stepped forward. Guides aligned. You didn't lift a hand. You didn't retaliate. Your energy did the work for you. And that energy became a signal in the unseen world. The woman began noticing signs. Owls appeared outside her window at night, staring in unnerving silence. Shadows moved when no one else was there. Whispers brushed against her thoughts when she closed her eyes. She tried temples, churches, spiritual leaders. Everyone told her the same thing in different words. Stay away. But it was too late. She had already touched what was not meant to be touched. She had mistaken your gentleness for vulnerability. She had thought your patience meant passivity. She didn't realize that the calmest presence in the room is often the most divinely protected. Your soul was layered, shielded, designed. Touching you wasn't dangerous because of revenge. It was dangerous because of consequence. And consequence has no emotion. She started hearing your name when no one was speaking. Her phone glitched whenever your photo appeared. Her mirror fogged over when your name was mentioned. Her business began to falter. Her health declined. Her connections dissolved. One by one, the people who once conspired with her began to pull away. They felt it too. A heaviness, a regret, a knowing that interfering with you had been a spiritual mistake. She was being isolated, exposed, not by you, but by truth. You, on the other hand, began to notice subtle shifts. Conversations changed. Opportunities resurfaced. People thought of you suddenly, spoke of you unexpectedly, dreamed about you without knowing why. Rooms that once ignored you began to pay attention. Your light could no longer be hidden because every attack sent towards you had become a signal upward. Your spiritual team had not been asleep. They had been observing timing, preparing, and now they were moving, clearing your path, elevating your name, silencing every whisper spoken against you. The woman didn't want revenge anymore. She wanted relief, but no one could give it to her because you were innocent. And when the innocent are attacked, justice does not wait for courtrooms. It rises on its own. She now lives with fear of mirrors. Every reflection flickers. Every shadow stretches. Every knock at the door feels like judgment. She's not afraid of you. She's afraid of what protects you. You never needed to scream. You never needed to prove anything. Your presence did the work, and now the story is turning. The places that once overlooked you are circling back. The opportunities that passed you by before are returning. The doors that were bolted shut are opening, one by one, in your name. The suffering wasn't punishment. It was preparation. The seer saw that too. She saw expansion, growth, authority. She saw a crown, not literal, but undeniable. This one is chosen, she said, and she did not whisper it. So breathe. Let the guilt consume them. Let the hate return to its sender. Let the universe balance itself. Your name is safe. Your path is alive. Your destiny is intact. The photo meant to curse you has become proof of your survival. They tried to erase you. Instead, they activated you. And now your truth echoes through worlds they cannot reach. She can't stop thinking about it. The glow, the aura, the way the room changed the moment your image was placed on the table. She thought it would be simple. She thought it would be confirmation. She thought she would finally hear that you were weak, exposed, vulnerable. But the seer didn't lean in. She stepped back. Her breath caught. Her eyes widened. Her voice dropped to a whisper, trembling with something that wasn't fear alone. It was recognition. She said, "They are not yours to play with. Not as a suggestion. Not as advice. As a law." She warned her to stop, to walk away, to let it go. Because what stood behind you wasn't something that could be negotiated with. Your story, she said, was never meant to end in revenge. It was always meant to end in resurrection. What they thought was dead inside of you was not dead at all. It was dormant, waiting, protected. What they tried to bury didn't disappear. It went underground, gathering force. You are not finished. You are just beginning. The moment she tried to curse your name, Something unseen shifted. It wasn't loud. There was no thunder, no dramatic sign. But in the spirit realm, it was unmistakable. It was as if a bell rang, and every unseen guardian assigned to you stood to attention. She spoke the wrong name. She lit the wrong flame. She crossed a line she didn't know existed. And now, her world is unraveling in quiet, undeniable ways. She wakes up in the middle of the night soaked in sweat, heart racing, hearing footsteps that vanish the moment she sits up. She tells herself it's stress, that it's guilt, that it's nothing, that deep down, she knows this isn't haunting. This is warning. This is consequence arriving exactly on time. This is what happens when someone tries to tamper with a soul that has been chosen, sealed, and guarded. She can't breathe without feeling pressure in her chest. She can't stay in certain rooms without the lights flickering. She's covered the mirrors in her home because she doesn't like the way her reflection looks back at her now. Candles burn down without being lit. Electronics glitch when she speaks your name. And every time she hears about you, something around her breaks. Glass, trust, peace. She remembers how quiet you were, how you didn't respond when you were provoked, how you walked away with grace when retaliation would have been justified. She mistook your silence for weakness. But silence, when it's chosen, carries authority. You stayed still long enough for something greater to move on your behalf. Because now, it isn't you fighting, it's the unseen army around you, and they are no longer holding back. The seer wasn't just shaken by what she saw, she was changed by it. She told others, whispered your name to people who understand energy, lineage, contracts older than memory. She said, this one is unlike the others. She said, you carry a contract with light, a binding that predates this lifetime, and any harm directed toward you would return, multiplied. And it did. The woman who brought your photo now avoids her own reflection. She won't hold eye contact with people anymore. She feels watched, not by you, but by the presence that stands behind you every time your name is spoken. The seer had seen darkness before. She had confronted it, worked around it, neutralized it, but never had she seen light push back with such force. She saw flashes of your future, rooms you haven't entered yet, conversations you haven't had, victories you haven't even imagined, and surrounding you were golden circles of ancestral fire. That's when she understood. You're not ordinary. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to disappear quietly. That woman walked into a war she didn't understand. She wanted validation that you were fragile. Instead, she found confirmation that you are untouchable. Now her life is unraveling, slowly, publicly. Relationships strain without explanation. People pull away. Opportunities dissolve. Phones crash. Glass shatters. Doors lock on their own. And her dreams? They are no longer symbolic. They are direct. Warnings she refuses to listen to. Because even now, after everything, she's still watching you. Still checking. Still scrolling. Still hoping to find a crack. But all she sees is this. Your glow is brighter. Your eyes sharper. Your walk steadier. Your presence carries weight now. She hears your name in rooms where she once felt powerful. She sees your face in spaces she thought she controlled. She scrolls. And there you are, rising, shining, surrounded by an energy she cannot replicate, no matter how many rituals she tries. Because power like yours cannot be stolen. You didn't ask for this battle, but you were built for it. And the truth, you already won before it began. You were never meant to be destroyed. You were meant to be revealed. That betrayal wasn't an ending. It was ignition. Before the seer cut contact completely, she left one final warning. If you try again, your name will be the one forgotten. Since that moment, nothing in that woman's life has stabilized. Her hands tremble when she writes. Her voice shakes when she speaks. The spirits around her no longer wait for permission. They act. Meanwhile, you are protected in ways you will never fully understand. Your footsteps are guarded. Your thoughts are shielded. Even your silence speaks for you now. You are being prepared, not just to survive, but to thrive in full view. A season where no weapon formed against you will prosper, where every delayed blessing rushes toward you at once, not because you demanded it, but because divine order has required it. She cries now. She begs now. She tries to undo what she started. But the truth is simple. She never had the power to curse you, only the illusion. And the moment your image touched that table, your protection activated. There is no reversal. Her regret has turned into obsession, not with you, but with undoing what cannot be undone. Every day she tries something new, a different chant, a different healer, a different ritual. Nothing works, because what she disturbed was not a human path. It was a divinely sealed assignment. And now you are rising, not through revenge, not through rage, but through alignment, through doors opening without effort, through invitations you didn't chase, through favor that finds you. People are watching now, some with admiration, some with fear, all with disbelief, because no one saw this coming. They thought the pressure would crush you. They thought the lies would bury you, but you weren't buried. You were being prepared. The next chapter of your life is already writing itself. Quietly, boldly, without apology. You are no longer becoming. You are arriving. And the ones who try to stop you, they are watching from the sidelines. Because your purpose was never optional. It was written. It was sealed. And now, it's happening.